The year 2026 doesn't want you to be wealthy. It wants you distracted, indexed, and emotionally bankrupt. If you don't adopt the psychological armor of a Roman emperor today, you are mathematically guaranteed to remain part of the permanent underclass in this digital economy. Marcus Aurelius sat at the head of the known world, yet his greatest battles weren't against Germanic tribes. They were against the same paralysis and poverty of spirit you feel when you check your bank account. You think your situation is unique because of AI, inflation, or the housing market. It's not. The tools have changed, but the human glitch remains the same. In this video, we are stripping away the bro science and the hustle culture lies. We are going to apply the 4 Stoic virtues to your empty savings account. By the end of this, you won't just have a plan to make money. You'll have the mental clarity that makes money an inevitable byproduct of your character. Stop scrolling for a hack and start building a fortress. This is what the last great emperor would say to you if he saw you wasting your potential right now. Aurelius ruled Rome between 161 and 180 AD. During his reign, the Antonine Plague killed somewhere between 5 and 10 million people. The empire was already in economic collapse. The currency had been debased. The borders were under constant assault. Imagine being 20 years old in Rome during that period, watching the wealth of your father's generation evaporate, while philosophers sold you fantasies about the gods. Now step into your apartment. The AI models are rewriting entire industries every 6 weeks. Your degree is worth less than the paper it's printed on. The currency is being debased through monetary policy you can't even begin to understand. The borders of your attention are under constant assault by algorithms designed by men smarter than you to keep you clicking. The parallels are so precise, it's almost boring. But here is the part they don't tell you when they sell you courses on financial freedom. Aurelius had every material advantage you could imagine, and he still woke up every morning fighting the exact same enemy you're fighting right now. Himself. His own weakness, his own desire to stay in bed, his own temptation to believe that external circumstances were the problem. If you are broke in 2026, it is not because of the economy. It's because your mind has been conquered by forces you invited in through a glowing rectangle. Broke is a symptom. The disease is that you have surrendered sovereignty over the one thing that actually matters. Your attention is the only currency that holds value in this economy. Everything else is downstream. If you think money is the goal, you've already lost. Money is just a measurement of the value you create, and you cannot create value if you are fragmented into 1,000 pieces across 6 different apps. Aurelius would take one look at your smartphone and recognize it for what it is: a digital leash. He'd see the blue light of the screen at 2 in the morning as the modern equivalent of being chained to opinion and rumor in the Roman Forum. In Meditations, he wrote about people who waste their lives at the mercy of whatever happens next. That was written before Instagram, before push notifications, before algorithmic feeds designed to trigger the exact neurochemical response that keeps you poor. You are being harvested. Your attention is the crop. The platforms are the landlords, and you are paying rent with the only resource that can't be replaced: your time. When Aurelius talks about the inner citadel, he's talking about the fortress of the mind that remains untouched by external noise. You don't have one. You have a door that swings open every time someone comments on your post, or a streamer goes live, or your phone buzzes with a sale you don't need. The emperor would tell you to build walls, not against other people, against distraction, against the constant hum of other people's agendas being piped directly into your skull. If you think the answer is to work harder, you're about to make the same mistake everyone else in your generation is making. Aurelius wouldn't tell you to hustle. He'd tell you that hustle is the new vanity. It's a performance. It's busyness as identity. It's the guy who posts his 4 a.m. alarm on LinkedIn while his portfolio sits at 0. The Stoics had a word for this: vainglory. The desire to be seen doing the thing, rather than actually doing the thing. Hard work is table stakes, but hard work without discernment is just expensive distraction. You've been sold a lie that volume equals value, that 18-hour days equal progress. The truth is harder to swallow. Most of what you do doesn't matter. Most of your tasks are just elaborate procrastination, disguised as productivity. Aurelius spent his mornings doing the most important work of empire: thinking, not reacting, not delegating, not attending meetings that could have been a memo. Thinking. Deep, uninterrupted singular thought about what actually moved the needle. He had the entire Roman bureaucracy at his disposal, and he still knew that the highest leverage activity was sitting in silence and sharpening the blade of his own judgment. You have more tools than he ever dreamed of, and you're using them to refresh the same feed for the 9th time today. The middle slump of your financial life is happening because you're afraid of the silence. You're afraid that if you stop moving, you'll realize how little of your motion is actually forward. Here is the counterintuitive truth that will save you or destroy you depending on what you do with it. The less you do, the more valuable you become. But here is the catch. The less you do has to be the result of ruthless elimination, not laziness. Aurelius practiced what the Stoics called voluntary hardship. He would sleep on the floor. He would fast. He would deliberately put himself in uncomfortable positions to inoculate himself against the softness that kills empires. The modern version of this is what we might call digital asceticism. While everyone else is chasing dopamine hits and vanity metrics, you are training yourself to thrive in boredom. To sit with a problem for 4 hours without checking your phone. To read a book that doesn't give you immediate answers. To build something that won't pay off for 6 months. Sana. This is not a spiritual exercise. This is economic warfare. In a world where the average attention span is collapsing towards zero, the person who can focus for extended periods has a monopolic advantage. The person who can delay gratification in an instant gratification economy is operating in a different market entirely. You think you're competing against other 20-year-olds. You're not. You're competing against the algorithm. And the algorithm wins by keeping you shallow. It wins by keeping you reactive. It wins by convincing you that the next video, the next post, the next notification might contain the answer. The answer is in the cold silence of the morning before anyone else is awake. The answer is in the work you do when no one is watching and no one will applaud. Aurelius talks about virtue as the only true good. Wisdom, justice, courage, temperance. These aren't abstract ideals. These are the load-bearing pillars of a life that produces value in any economy. Wisdom is knowing what actually matters. In 2026, that means knowing the difference between information and knowledge. It means being able to identify signal in an ocean of noise. It means understanding that most of what you consume is designed to make you feel informed while keeping you ignorant. Justice, in the Stoic sense, is about creating value for others. Not taking, not extracting, not gaming the system. You are broke because you have not yet created enough value for other people. That's it. That's the equation. Money is just the receipt. If you want more money, you have to solve more problems, alleviate more pain, or create more beauty. The market is a voting system. And right now, it's voting that what you offer isn't worth what you're asking. That's not an insult. That's information. Courage is doing the thing that terrifies you, because you know it's right. For most people watching this, that thing is going all in on one skill, instead of dabbling in 12. It's saying no to the group chat. It's deleting the app that's stealing your future. It's having the conversation you've been avoiding. Temperance is the governor on your worst impulses. It's the ability to sit in front of the open browser tab and not click. To have money in your account and not spend it. To have an audience and not pander to it. If you rebuild your life around these four virtues, money becomes a preferred indifferent. That's Stoic language for something that's nice to have, but not the source of your peace. Aurelius had infinite wealth and knew it was worthless if his mind was enslaved. You have no wealth and think that's the problem. The problem is the same. You are trying to fill an internal void with external validation. You are trying to solve a spiritual crisis with a financial plan. It doesn't work. The emperor knew that. He wrote it down for you 2,000 years ago, and you're still not listening. So here is what he would tell you to do. Not in theory, in practice. He would tell you to pick one skill that the market rewards and go so deep into it that you become unavoidable. Not competent, unavoidable. He would tell you to delete every app that doesn't directly contribute to that skill. He would tell you to wake up before the sun and do the hardest work first, before your willpower is depleted by 1,000 micro-decisions. He would tell you to stop talking about what you're going to do and let the work speak. He would tell you that every hour you spend consuming content made by someone else is an hour you're not creating value yourself. He would tell you that your friends who are stuck will try to pull you back down because your progress makes them confront their own stagnation. He would tell you to love them and leave them behind anyway. The weight of the emperor's purple robe was unbearable, not because of the fabric, because of the responsibility. He knew that every decision he made rippled out across millions of lives. You think your decisions don't matter because you're not an emperor. But every decision you make today is either building the fortress or tearing it down. Every time you pick up your phone instead of picking up the work, you are voting for the life you say you don't want. Every time you say yes to something that doesn't serve your highest aim, you are saying no to the version of yourself that could have been free. Aurelius had a phrase: the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. You think being broke is the impediment. It's not. Being broke is the information. It's the feedback. It's the market telling you that the current version of you is not valuable enough yet. That's not a tragedy. That's a gift. Because now you know exactly what you need to do. You need to become more valuable. Not more visible, not more connected, more valuable. That happens in silence, in repetition, in the unglamorous grind of mastery that no one will ever see or celebrate until the results are undeniable. Here is the final truth that Aurelius would want you to understand. The internal citadel is not built overnight. It is built brick by brick, decision by decision, in moments when no one else is watching. It is built when you choose the hard right over the easy wrong. When you sit down to work and the resistance is screaming and you do it anyway. When you fail and the world tells you to quit and you start again the next morning. When you have enough money to be comfortable and you choose discomfort because you know comfort is the enemy of excellence. The fortress is not built to keep the world out. It is built to keep you in, to keep you aligned with the person you decided to become, to keep you from scattering your energy across the infinite distractions that the algorithm has designed to keep you poor, distracted, and pacified. If you master nothing else in this life, master this. Your attention is your sovereignty. Your choices are your empire. Your character is your wealth. Everything else is just noise. And the noise is getting louder. The emperor is dead. The empire fell. But the principles he wrote down in the margins of his own mind have outlasted every dynasty, every currency, every empire that rose and collapsed in the centuries since. Those principles will outlast the platforms. They will outlast the algorithms. They will outlast the economic system that is trying to turn you into a node in someone else's network. If you build the fortress now, in 2026, when you're broke and no one believes in you, and the world is telling you to give up, you won't just survive what's coming. You'll thrive in it. Because while everyone else is scattered and reactive and enslaved to their screens, you will be whole, focused, free, and that freedom will compound into wealth that no market crash can take from you. Aurelius would tell you to stop waiting. The work is here. The war is now. And the only enemy that matters is the one staring back at you in the